Well, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Matthew, we all set? Is everybody joined?
Yeah, we have people already starting to file in, so exciting to see everyone joining us.
Oh, it's awesome. Matthew, if you could please give me screen sharing.
Oh, yes, absolutely. All right, you could try now.
All right, thank you.
hmm
I know we have some existing customers on the call. I want to just thank you for being part of Express. Everyone that's new to Express, just thank you for your confidence to learn about artificial intelligence. Before I talk a little bit, I'm the host, I'm founder of Express, but I have a background in computer science, right? In aerospace, high performance computing. I was going to share AI and what I know with you and how I believe it's going to help Auto and some simple tips you can use today to move things forward. Before I got there, I just wanted to introduce Matthew, just a superstar that heads our customer success team. And Matthew, do you want to say hi real quick?
Yeah, so I'm very glad to be joining you today and talking about, AI and how we already use it to drive auto revenue and shops can implement different tactics as well. And excited to see, all the new people on here. Hopefully some of you will join us and I would be the one who would be onboarding and training your teams. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, Matthew will be working with you as you get onboarded. So there you go. It's good to put a face with the name, right? So
Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes I, spend hours over the course of a year talking to a shop, and then finally, whether it's at the super conference or some other event, I finally meet them in person. You have all these notions of what they look like, and it's just like, oh yeah, they're just like me. It's always so hopefully that's the case with some of the people on here.
and that's a joy of all of us, right? Everybody joining us is it's about people, and I love working in the industry, right? It's great people and interaction. So
Likewise.
as we get into AI, this will be about 30 minutes interactive. I definitely want everybody to feel comfortable in Q&A, asking questions along the way. We'll get them answered. What I want to do is, first of all, share is we have a giveaway, which is a AI controlled, right? Using voice. I'll show you Chat GPT later, right? A little dog you can have run around your shop. We thought that was cool and a good giveaway. So we look forward to sharing that with one lucky shop at the end of the webinar. So stay on it and we'll see who wins. Matthew's going to draw at random and go from there. I think it's very cool. So what do you think, Matthew? Would you like a robotic dog? I know you just moved. So,
It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's funny with Chat GPT because when it first was released, I was still in school, and I remember a lot of my friends who are in computer engineering and software engineering talking about it. And then it became such a big thing that then schools had to quickly implement software to try to detect it because it was so powerful. And this all happened within a span of 6 months. You had something completely new roll out that was so good at, writing papers, whatever it might be, that then the schools had to. So it's cool to see now that they have their own little dog. I'm sure it's very useful.
fun, right? To respond to you, and it's kind of cool, right? So I think a fun giveaway. Thanks for everybody's time today. And we'll actually see Chat GPT demo, but in context, though, we can look at Chat GPT, but what would you do with it? Right. And it's around in and around customer communication,
hmm
interaction. Be quite surprised. I look forward to covering that. Just a little bit about my background, if I may, is so people have seen me speak either at ATI or Transformers Institute presentation. I used to be CTO of Quickbooks, right? And I'm very proud of that, right? And they're the largest accounting software that I'm sure almost every shop on a call today uses that for your accounting. And that gave us a financial footing to launch Express, recognize some technology. Many people don't know is if you would, many know that I'm a pilot. I enjoy that. Matthew and I talked about that a lot. But my degree is in probabilistic parallel supercomputing from Georgia Tech, right? So use that to design aircraft. But as part of that, we're looking at probabilities and intelligence back in the day. So I'm super excited about supercomputing, right? And just how far it's come. And I'm going to share with you why this massive change in AI in 6 months? What's different, right? Really, what took us so long? And it actually is computer technology. And if you would, I want to go into a little bit of about why and technical, and you can walk away understanding that as an outdoor shop, right? And what drove it. So it's this computing background in my past I'm bringing forward, right? And we actually apply it today with Express. So happy to share that. What I want to do is add some humor because AI has come a long way, but we also see what it doesn't do well, right? So if you're familiar with Express, right, is we do direct bank payments in a consumer-friendly way, making it convenience, right? We want priority pickup for your shop. So we're constantly looking for pictures in shops. And with AI, I did the following is we have a credit card terminal on a counter, but honestly, no one likes it anymore, right? It's cumbersome. No one likes going in and paying on it. I think it should be done one click, like online. It should be handled, right? So it bothered me. Everybody looks so happy, right? You're not happy paying fees, and no one happy through this whole process. With Express, you only need to go through it, right? I decided it would make everybody look less happy doing this in one of our pictures. But here's what AI would do is, photo, and I think it's hilarious, is just take their smiling face and make it a little less happy, right? It helped render the message we're kind of convey. And this is what AI did with it. And I have to laugh every time. AI automatically edited the image, and that's what it came up with, right? And I couldn't laugh more is AI, anyone that thinks they're going to replace your job, replace functions, it's not there yet. As much as I'm a believer in it, we still require, and I'd heard from an investor on coming his pitches, they call it the humanity, right? There's something about us that's interpersonal. It's the empathy. It's an understanding of the result that we can't convey yet. We can do technical, and I'm pretty impressed that it put the face in the right spot, right? But I'm not impressed with the answer, right? And there's nothing to catch it. So it's kind of a humorous, we're there, and as much as my pitch will be about AI, is we still have a long way to go. And I thought you all could enjoy that laugh that we had just literally 2 weeks ago when we were putting together another presentation. Here you go. So remember that, Matthew?
I
We
do.
were hey, and showing friends. So what's interesting though is artificial intelligence. Before you get to shops, it's everywhere in our lives right now, right? I actually unplugged my own Alexa for the demo. So when I say Alexa, it doesn't keep going on for the webinar today. So we have Alexa, right? I've Alexified my house for lights, front door, etc. We commonly now get AI and support bots for the easy thing. If you have a Tesla, it uses AI behind the scene. What I'll say about each of those is they're giving us things more convenient, right? So, example, I use Alexa for my lights. So, Alexa, turn on the kitchen lights. But we also know they have limitations, right? So, I can say, turn on the kitchen lights, and nothing happens, right? And it thinks I said off, right? So I gotta be really articulated on very clearly for Alexa. So we just have to be a little bit careful how we use it. But it is a convenient time saver for us, right? So here you are. So I'd like everybody just on a call today, just pause a minute and actually think where you might have seen AI in your everyday life, right? If you have Alexa or if you do support, right? Think about where you may have used it. Matthew, can you think of any place that you've used it? Not here? Oh.
Yeah, I think a lot of the ways we see it now is online e-commerce and shopping, and it helps both the business and the consumer because then
Mhm.
it'll show you products that you might like based off of what you added into your cart, and then it'll also, like you see the chatbot here, then you'll be able to get really quick answers.
Mhm.
And actually, with the chatbots, I know from home as a family friend the guy who created Drift.
Uh-huh.
And this created the technology, and it really revolutionized customer support, because then if you still need to speak to a representative, as a lot of our shops know, if they still need to speak to me, I'm always available. But for a lot of other businesses, for really easy questions, maybe you already have a product from them, this just speeds it all up. And that's something that helps the consumer, and it also helps the business. And it's not that it really replaced any employee, because somebody wasn't doing that beforehand.
Exactly right. It augments it and it helps see good the repetitive things out of the way.
Hmm.
That's what we like. And we'll get later. It's interesting you mentioned online, right? AI is great at putting forward recommendations, right? And one of the things we're going to talk about is upsell intelligence for recommendations. So there you go, for shop recommendation. This I went into earlier. Remember the errors in AI and some of the limitations, and Matthew just touched on. It's not going to replace any function in your shop. Why? Because it's the humanity that makes you a better shop, right? It's people with experience running that location, right? That's what you want, right? And our call today aren't Jiffy Lubes where everything's the same thing over and over. What's interesting is service advisors we hear from our advisory group is they love solving customer issues, right? It's different for each one of your customers. That's what your customers want to see from your shop and evaluate. So keep the humanity. Help us provide convenience. This is David Averin, right? We can use AI to help drive that convenience for your customers, right? The repetitive stuff, so you can put the human touch in that makes your shop even better. We're always going to come back to humanity because I think it makes smart choices in AI, right? You're not buying a tech, you're doing something to improve your interaction with your customers or your employees, right? What I thought I would do is I mentioned I have a background and I just wanted to see if I, in a simple way, explain the explosion in AI, right? Why is it coming up so quickly, so fast, right? And the answer is computing power. But I'll share with you why is many of you rely on Mitchell or all data to get your repair information or to get your recommended service schedules for your customers, right, in their vehicles, right? One example of AI for years is we could have taken the Mitchell and all data, put it into a network, and then what you do is ask the network, is at 50,000 miles, what needs to be done, right? But in this example, what we do is we used to train artificial intelligence. Intelligence, they say, is neural network. We used to pick the model. What parameters would we ask? Vehicle make, model year, the familiar ones, mileage, what size engine did you have on it, right? A 3-liter, a 4-liter, a turbo, right? What would be on it? And then we'd ask the question, how many miles for this config, and it'd give us the answer. It's highly, we call it prescriptive. We pick the pattern, right? So the artificial intelligence was limited by the patterns we chose. Now we got to be much smarter about it. It's of course not this simple, but it'd still be us picking 100, 1,000 variables to form the patterns. The explosion in the last year is about computing power, where no longer do we pick the patterns. Remember, the pattern is make, modern, mileage. we do, right? In current AI is we feed raw data. In this example for diagnostic, it's not just Mitchell tables. It's social media, find out what you're talking about vehicles for problems they've had. Forums like I use Reddit or Nextdoor. Look at actual accident reports, what's going on with them, that we're feeding all this data into the computer, right? And I hate to say that it's a black box, but it really is. We didn't choose any model. It's going to build the model. So I can ask things I've never asked before. I have a cracked half shaft in a Tesla. What would I do? right? We could never do that before. We were limited in our variables. So we relied on us digging out a manual, finding a tech it's done before. But now we just feed all the information. AI develops such a complex pattern, we can ask it almost anything. So the difference now is it's one example application of AI is diagnostics. It's easy to explain this difference in model. And the answer about why you'd want it is so much computing power is there, you could ask it anything, right? And that changes it, right? Now it forces us to rethink. We're not used to asking anything, right? We're so used to being constrained. And now in AI, we kind of have to break that a little bit and ask it anything. So, Matthew, do you understand the difference between this pattern and then it literally picks any pattern it wants so we can ask anything? It seems to be simple, but
Yeah, it is pretty straightforward, and it's useful because I'm, as an example, I'm looking to get a new car because I just moved, and all the used cars have different mileage, so I'm trying to understand. Okay, if I get one with this mileage, then what am I going to have to get all the repairs based off the make, the mile. Hopefully, it didn't have an accident, this type of thing. And now there's a lot of websites that have you can pretty much plug one in, and it'll just give you all that data right then and there, which saves me so much time and makes it that much easier. When I actually do buy the vehicle.
got it. And you touched on, right? There's ways we traditionally looked at it. What you're trying to do is get all this insight, right?
Hmm.
It's how much liability do I have when you go buy this vehicle? And what am I going to have to repair now or near term? Right. And it's hard to ask that question, right? And
Hmm.
find
And
out.
then 6 months down the line, then this will being used when I actually have to take it into the shop for the first time.
There you go, right? So hopefully you choose one of our customers.
Yeah.
There you go. Now, back to the technology side, and it's a little more fun, is what's interesting. Remember, I used to be in parallel supercomputing back at Georgia Tech, right? I was working on an aircraft, right? Aviation. So I was looking at advanced fighter design. But it's interesting. Remember, I said in these models, we come further in computer processing. There's a movie called The Billion-Dollar Code, if you remember right. And it's about Google Earth and how they stole it for some guys. Well, this is on the left side is Silicon Graphics O2. At the time, fastest computer in the world you could buy. And I had one of the six of them sitting on my desk at Georgia Tech. Yeah. And you thought you're a king of the world because you're processing this one of them that would network together, right? Here's the difference with AI, right? Is my college classmates head of NVIDIA, and if anybody knows artificial intelligence, they're the dominant company building computers for AI, right? And right there's my classmate, right? Is when they look at AI is literally a classroom-sized computer, right? And this at my alma mater, and just how big these computers are. And that's why we put unlimited amounts of data at it, right? And we can get the answers. Okay? The final part I want to leave here, I'm going to get into auto shops, is when we talk about these networks, this data doesn't need to be auto specific. It's going to be included in all this general data, right? So what it does is it makes our shops better. So when we ask about customers, we're not going to just get our shop way, our automotive way. We're going to get insights into all the other ways that other industries do it, right? And therefore we can expand, right? The example I like to use is reviews, right? Restaurants were the first ones into it, right? And then hotels and travel. But guess what? We all need reviews in other industries now. So let's go learn for them and what we can bring in auto faster, right? And to make you more competitive, better in the shop at the street. So with that, I pull out three examples I'd love to use in today's webinar that I think you could touch on, right? The first is customer interaction. I'll show you GPT is you have your service advisors, your service team, or your estimators engage with customer. They're actually very effective. That's why they're with you and why you're a well-run shop. What I encourage you to do is the same thing we do is keep bettering yourself. Whenever I do a sales pitch, I always listen, what can make it better, right? Whenever we engage a support team, what can we make it better? Is in customer interaction, what makes your interaction better, right? So I'd like to go ahead and share with you, right, ChatGPT. Some of you may have seen it, some have not. It's a #1 buzzword. It's an AI. And I want to talk about from an auto side, right, and just how much you can get from it. So I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to go over to ChatGPT for those that have not seen it yet. Is you can go to chatgpt.com and there's a text box, and you can ask this box anything, right? Now, I turned out to be a bad typer. Matthew will tell you this. I could see him laughing. So I didn't put it in for the answers. I'm just such a poor typer, right? But I'm just going to ask ChatGPT. We said nothing that we're in automotive, right? It's got all the data. It's just describe a friendly interaction between a service writer and a customer for an auto shop, right? This is what it's going to come up with. This is AI on its own, walking through a potential appointment, right? What's nice about it is I asked for a friendly interaction, and it's going to ask at the beginning, yeah, Toyota Camry, is this right, Sarah? Right? This is this empathy. So think about how you engage your customers. Are there any other concerns, right? We'll make note of what we have when we appreciate it, right? We're going to get you an inspection. Read through these dialogues and think about and role play your dialogue with customers. This is one example about how you can use AI. So if you have workflow and customer engagement, keep coming back and trying it out. I'll show you some other examples, right? As we know, we send text to a customer, right? Those are text or email. So I can go ahead and ask ChatGPT, knowing that we're not in auto, right? It's just got its whole world behind it. And you see how powerful it is. Here's a text message template right out to your customers, right? It's very friendly. You'll keep them up to date. Thank you for choosing us. So look at yours and what your service advisor is saying and compare them and maybe pull some tips out. So the first thing I recommend is go ahead and use ChatGPT. Go through all your customer engagement, and you'll see a 5 to 10% uptick in their satisfaction, which translates into repair orders. Right? Now, what we do is we have express pickup, right? Geez, GPT, what does that look like in a check-in text? Yeah. What's amazing is customers respond to the fact that you have priority pickup. That's why we call our company Express, right? And it says, whenever you're ready, we'll have your vehicle waiting for you. Customers love knowing that, and it's something we don't say. What do we say? Is your vehicle's ready for pickup? When do you need to arrange it? What we leave out is a simple statement, we'll have the vehicle ready and waiting for you. That's pretty powerful, right, Matthew? What do you hear from shops that hear that? So,
Yeah, and what's great about this is it's really just expectation setting and communication. So
mhm.
shops probably already have the vehicle ready for pickup, but then by communicating that clearly to the customer, it reinforces the convenience that they can have, and it helps them perceive that they're going to have a much quicker pickup and that their business is really being valued. Whereas in the shop side, you're not really doing anything different. You had that vehicle serviced and ready to go, but just by doing the little step of mentioning it to the customer, they feel that much more valued, which means they're more likely to leave a good review, come back to the shop the next time.
I remember the survey we did where we asked customers, and 84% of them said that they heard now the customer get the vehicle back, but the shops never had that before. You can actually get your vehicle back. You just never said it. It's never that easy. Why now they go, we want it. We want to hear that from you, right? So these small tweaks of what ChatGPT can help you.
Yeah, and it's communicating that, if your shop has the attention to detail on everything, that you know exactly when the car is complete and ready for pickup, then that's showing to the customer, oh, everyone in their staff really knows what they're doing. They've really serviced my vehicle. They've inspected it. They knew everything about it. And again, it's just going to make the customer feel more valued, and it's going to differentiate your shop from the one down the street.
Staying competitive is everything. It's how you grow.
Hmm.
Uh, you know already, Matthew, I got to this webinar just on time because I did a demo with a customer. What was cool, or at the prospect, an ATI member that signed up that grew from 4 to 9 bays. Why did they do it? By being well run, right? And
Hmm.
now he like expressed to further drive revenue, right? And what am I covering? That's how intelligence drives it. But I'm just proud of all of our shops that grow, right? And that's what it's all about, is being well run, leaving your legacy. So what I want to do is just finish on another piece of, we talked about applications of, first of all, we're so used to being shop internal, is go back, take a minute about how you engage your customer, run it through Chat GPT and try it. You'll get insights just like we had in this webinar very quickly. It's small tweaks you can do that are very impactful to today's customer. Then I want to cover upsell intelligence, which is diagnostics we talked about earlier. And then I want to talk about upsell intelligence with some magic we have, because everybody knows we're Express, that makes it easier to pick up a vehicle. You save money from direct bank payment. But I want to talk about how this intelligence now fits in. And you can drive right between 12 and 20%, 27% increase in revenue. Vehicles already in your shop, and you do it with recommended services. So after the webinar, welcome, I engage with full demo. If I do a demo with you, we talk about how we sign up customers for priority pickup at check-in. But something we added in our insight in the last 6 months, all of our existing customer webinar already have it, is upsell intelligence. So at the time that you're doing your estimate, you're going to go to your recommended service. You may have a 16, a 24 point of service that you go through, right? What's interesting is you'd like to think you have 24 checkpoints, 8 of them are needed, recommended services, you present it to every customer. The reality is we're all biased, right? This customer hasn't ever bought them. This customer is in a hurry. This customer is an older vehicle. They probably don't want that new muffler. All these biases get introduced. They're normal. What we do, it's the humanity. But the thing about AI, all of a sudden we got insight, did our magic, our computing power. And what we can do at the point you're doing, adding your recommended services to your estimate, we use upsell intelligence to remove that bias. Because your customers signed up, we know how much money they had in their banks, where they've spent it, what they purchased on upsell before. So we can tell you if they're likely, maybe, or an unlikely to purchase your recommended services. What our current shops, we had TLS Motorworks, Chris Fraser on our panel at the ATI Super Conference. We're able to 100% predict, 100% predict which one of his customers are going to buy recommended services. Imagine how that transformed that shop. So what you do Express when your customers sign up, we will send an inbound text into your platform, the existing management system. If you use Tech Metrics, it comes in Tech Message. right? Matthew help set up customers for that. They like that, right? Matthew comes
They
inbound.
love it because
It's
it's right into
simple,
their
right?
workflow.
If you use auto flow, auto vitals, right? Mechanic net, it'll all come in. It works with everything. We will send an inbound text. Customer is signed up for payments. You'll save money. This webinar isn't about Express for payments. You're happy to demo with me. I'm covering is. We will also tell you, is this customer likely to purchase recommended services? We went and analyzed it. And guess what? Is in our shop sending out these express for priority pickup. 71% of customers have enough money to both pay for the service they're in the shop and buy recommended services, right? That right now they're seeing a 12% uptick in revenue, right? The vehicle's already on the lift, right? What better than have recommended services that's in your shop? So 71% of customers, you just don't know who they are, right? You got to remove those biases. And that's what we share directly by sending an inbound text to your service team or estimators, right? It works for collision just as well as it does for a repair shop. It's pretty magical and simple, right? It's given directly. You don't have to go out to some tool. It's right there while you're estimating the repair and presenting those recommended services to an unbiased way to your customers. So, Matthew, any other additional insight that you have on that?
Yeah, I mean that the data shows that our shops, their customers, and that our shops are just like all the shops on this call. The
Yeah.
majority of their customers are likely to buy recommended service. And what we hear all the time is, oh no, my customers don't have the money in the bank, they don't want to do this. And it's all just assumptions, as you're saying, is you're just creating objections for yourself. And then you're just, ruling out the consideration of even offering something to a customer as much as possible. For the advisors and the estimators, you want to, as Mark said, remove that bias. You want to not make assumptions about your customers, and instead now you have data and you just go ahead and ask.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as just asking. If you have that information about the customer and then you make an informed pitch to the customer, then best case, which is happening, as you said, with a 12% increase, the customer is going to say yes. Worst case, they're going to say no, but then they realize, okay, maybe 3 months down the line, I'm going to need this, recommended service, and you've presented it in a professional way without putting pressure on them.
It does in a professional way. And it made me think about it as you described it, right? Is you should be presenting with confidence, recommended service every customer.
Mm-hmm.
And we can see the data in front of us, right? Is more than half have the funds to purchase it. We don't know who they are. So the problem is with our biases is we're taking who we think are unlikely,
Mm-hmm.
that we know who they are. It's only a small percentage of them, but we're putting in a likely bucket through our own
Mm-hmm.
biases, the way we offer it to customers. So they're not purchasing it. So we did is give our shops that have upsell intelligence, it comes included to Express, the ability to say, wow, we don't have to move that bias up. That's where they're seeing the uptick is by removing the bias, presenting a more professional manner to customers. And what's interesting is a customer that likes express priority pickup, one click checkout, that's the way we all are. We don't like waiting, right? It's these customers that have the money that we know will take care of the recommended service when it's in your shop. They don't want to be without their vehicle, right? So a tremendous amount of opportunity for you, right? So if you would, the two areas in the area, how you engage customers, you should do that. That makes you more competitive, better. Now what you have is you're servicing vehicles the right way every time. And that gets exciting. What's interesting, we look at the numbers, right, is if we remove our biases, our top shop, we just had a joint call with every ATI coach, right? 75% of your customers will sign up for it, right? Of those, 82% said you never even mentioned that you could get your car or your vehicle back so easy and it's important to them. They want it. As a result of intelligence, we see a range from 12-20% uptick with the upsell intelligence. Final piece of data is every transaction is 22% more profitable as a result. So if we go back to ways of bringing AI in your shop, it's called Chat GPT. Go and try it. Enter in text. Why? And start to get fluid. Think of new questions you can ask ChatGPT. And then we encourage you, right? All of our customers that are on board had a trial period where they could try us out. Go ahead and try our upsell intelligent, no risk. And I'll be the one to show it to you, and Matthew will be the one to bring you on board. So exactly what you're seeing in this webinar, right? Very excited by that. I know you've all been patient as we've been excited to share what we know in AI, and you can see already, because we're getting a little long, is how much there is. And that's the excitement. This is the future. But we only brought back just a little bit in your shop, and already it has an impact. They get exciting when you look a year out, how much more we can have an impact in your shop. But you've got to start now. You get behind the curve, the shops up the street will have it to their advantage, and it's going to come fast. So the more you learn and explore it, and we can certainly help you with that. I'm on this slide because I want to pause and just ask Matthew if any questions came in. If not, let's award our Chat GPT. You don't have to type on the dog, it's voice activated instead. And for a shop and a lucky winner. But any questions first, Matthew, you've heard, or anything you want to add?
I don't see any customers who have, anyone in there who's asked a question yet. So if you do have a question, please, type one in now. But I'd say the big takeaway is for everyone in the audience, don't be afraid or scared of AI. It's not something, as we've talked about, that's here to replace your job. It's something to be a tool to utilize and really help your team grow, and then help whether it's your advisors, your estimators, technicians focus on what's most important and try to remove some of those repetitive tasks. So at the very least, leave this webinar with just more of an open mind, and maybe just the next week or two, think about some of those tasks at the shop that you might be able to actually find ways to automate with AI. And yeah, just keep an open mind and start penning those down, and then reach out to us if you want help with tangible ways to do that.
During time, and you finished on, okay, what I think is you said don't fear, try it. And then you finished on this one piece that I'd like to as well is it's the humanity side. You're all great advisors and shops, and we love what you do for customers. You can use the AI to help do even more for them, make it better, right? You're the one they want to come to and trust. And here's an opportunity to bring something into your shop. So thank you, everybody, for attending today. A great insight, Matthew. I always really enjoy working with you. Thank you for our customers that are on, and new shops want to hear about AI. Should we go ahead and truly it's at random? Matthew, randomly pick someone, and I'll
All right.
sending you an AI dog. We'll contact you via email, right, where to send it to, and we'll go from there. So, Matthew, who's the lucky winner?
All right, the lucky winner is Russ Hilliard, which
Awesome.
I believe he's from Tires 2.
Russ, congratulations. Thank you for being on a webinar today. Hope you learned something from it. And I did. And Matthew, what I like about you, every coach that I've interacted with shops, I learn something every time.
Mm-hmm.
You like that. Even the customer I had the demo right before this call, shared something I learned from him about something we could do on check-in. And it was awesome. When I wrote it down, I'll give it to engineering. I get excited by that. So thank you for everyone. We learned from it. And then if you could, Russ, congratulations. And then I'm going to finish with an AI-enabled video to show you how far we've come. And everybody, thank you and have a great day. Here we go.
Thank you for watching today's webinar. Can you tell if this video is real? So happy to have you on the call today. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Have a great week.
Bye, everybody. See you, Matthew. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you everyone for attending. Thank you, Robert, for the comment. Glad you could take something away from it.